Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, just finished rewatching X-Men Dark Phoenix. And honestly, it's not a bad movie. It's one of those movies, yeah, at first it is pretty bad, but it isn't. If you look at it from a pretty decent standpoint. I mean, the original, the first time they did that, put the Dark Phoenix saga on the big screen was horrible, was terrible. But this one was a little bit better. I mean, they stayed true to the comics, the comic book run, which I have to admit, it does run into its problems. I'm not denying that. But for the most part, it does stay pretty faithful to the Dark Phoenix saga. Although we have seen the Dark Phoenix saga multiple times. First in the comics, then in the X-Men animated series, then in X-Men Last Stand, and now Dark Phoenix. But this is more, I want to say, more faithful to the 06 version of the Dark Phoenix saga. I mean, yes, I know it had its problems. It had its fair share of problems between the buyout, the acquisition, the problem with, oh, it's too close to it's too close to Captain Marvel. We gotta switch this out because it's too, the fans are gonna complain about, oh, we're just copying Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is gonna be compared to looking like copying off of us. That situation. I've heard it. I've heard all the angles, all the complaints and stuff like that when this movie was supposed to be coming out. I believe it was supposed to, at first it was supposed to be coming out in February of, no wait. I believe it was supposed to come out in 2018, then it got delayed to, I think, November. Then it got delayed again to February of 2019. Then they were like, nope, not gonna happen. Then it got delayed again to June of 2019. I believe that was right. I think that's right. But whatever the cost or the issue was about that is mostly because of everything that was going on with the acquisition, mostly the acquisition of Disney buying out Fox, and all the chaos that was going through. And that was fun. But now we have the X-Men, or we have the X-Men, a kind of a part of the MCU now, but not really. But okay, now here's why it kind of fits in with the MCU part, but it doesn't. Here's why it doesn't first. Okay. It's not, this movie isn't really centered in the MCU, because it takes place maybe maybe like 6 years, maybe like 6 or 7 years after the events of Legion, the film, the movie, but also 10 years after the events of Apocalypse, which somehow they retconned. I know all the retcons are of each movie does its fair shares of acknowledging this thing and that thing, but I mean, it is what it is. It's not a bad movie. It's just plagued with a lot of issues. For the most part, it's plagued with a lot of issues. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a pretty decent movie. And they did put Dazzler in it, so that's pretty awesome. If you're a big fan of Dazzler, she's got a cameo. But honestly, one thing I never really liked how they used this particular person was I never liked how they used Jubilee, because Jubilee is one of the most crucial members of the X-Men. In any team or variation of the X-Men, whether you're following the team of Cyclops' team of X-Men, or the Wolverine's team of X-Men, or whoever the leader of the X-Men are, Jubilee can fit into any team that she finds herself into, you know? And they utilized her so poorly in the Fox X-Men films and everything else. And Jubilee is a great character, but like, you're just using her as like a side, as like a background side character. Like, Jubilee deserves much more than what she was given. No matter which actress you had to play her, she deserved a lot more than what she was given. But I digress, because as poorly as they used Jubilee and all the others, it wasn't. It could have been better, but it wasn't the worst thing. You know, it could have been a lot worse than what had happened. You know? But what are you gonna do? You know, things happen. You know, but other than that, it's still good. No matter what, it's good, but it's bad at the same time. It's like the Fantastic Four of this movie is like the Fantastic Four of the X-Men side of things, if you want to compare that to anything else. But other than that, it was pretty decent, and it was it takes place in 1993. They could have worked around the whole scroll thing, but that was a whole different story of all of its own. But honestly, 8 years. It's set 8 years before. I want to say 8 years. I think it was it takes place 8 years from X-Men 1, the actual X-Men 1, not First Class or the First Class series or thing. But it does take place in the 90s, so early 90s, so it would make sense that the X-Men would be around 2000 to 2001, somewhere around that time frame, maybe if not 02, 03, somewhere around there, around that time frame, the early 2000s. That's how far away we've gone to be a part of the early 2000s, even though the early 2000s for superhero movies were just getting kicked off. But anyways, it's not a bad film. It's not. There's been a lot worse films than this movie. But, we honestly, it is what it is. I mean, who are we to complain? But anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.